Yeah, well, you shouldn't have turned the gun on that kid, man. You shouldn't have turned the gun on it.
Do you want your cut of this money or not? Now shut up. Shut up.
Don't kill me, man! Don't kill me! Don't kill me, man!
I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Trip Around the Multiverse, where we are going to do like a little superhero film epilogue from the superhero films we've already covered. I'm the man who kicks the dude in a not so hard he goes flying, like he's getting yanked by cable wires. See my Sean?
Okay. And I am the bully. I don't know. A generic bully that is in any superhero's origin story, Carl Charles.
Right, okay. So, just something about the Blade films that we didn't cover before when we were talking about them. But you remember when, you remember when Blade was like finally drank some blood and he started going flip mode?
Yeah.
And he started just basically making all those decompressors jabroni, decompressors minions look like jabronis, proper jabronis,
Yeah.
And he tears some dude's throat out and he throws it in another dude's face.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if you remember that bit.
I remember that. It's weird.
And then he knocks some dude down and he does them like multiple kicks. Like, you know how there's rabbit punches?
Yeah.
All right. But he's like doing rabbit kicks and then he does one final kick on the guy. Like, basically the guy's lying on the stairs.
Yeah. I remember talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he just boots that guy so hard in the groin, he goes flying.
I remember.
And I'm like, wow.
The power of PlayStation, I guess.
Purely unnecessary. But I was like, oh, we forgot to point it out. And I don't. Did that guy even die? I mean, he
probably
wishes he was dead.
I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to point out. I was like, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's actually really funny. I don't know why. I mean, he just murdering people, and they just scene of obscene comedy-ish.
Yeah.
It's like, huh?
Like, sure. That's a fitness film, but what the hey, you know.
But then, like we were saying before, there's some strange bits that do when he's talking jive turkey and stuff like that, where it's like that don't fit in this film either. But it for some reason it all merges together well.
Yeah, it does.
It does. Yeah. So we didn't speak about the fat vampire in the fridge. You remember that?
Yeah. That bit was so weird. Like that felt kind of out of place as well. But I was like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah. So he's so morbidly obese and with a massive vampire that they basically have to. Like he lived in a fridge essentially, but the fridge is a door, another corridor to somewhere else.
Yeah.
To his base where he's looking at the computers and stuff like that. And the lady with Blade is like, so they got a UV thing and they're just shining on the dude, just burning all sorts of parts of him, and then they torture the guy.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
And then when Blade's about to leave, he's like to the lady, if he moves, burn him, right?
Yeah.
And the guy twitches, and then the lady's like, you take that for full on, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. And then Blade looks at it and she says, he moved. And I'm like, he just burnt to the point of death. He even just went, and I was like, wow, yeah.
That was a bit
OTT,
but sure, I guess.
Yeah. However, that is on top. Wait, yeah. So the basement, that's the basement, and above that is the Japanese karaoke club
Yeah.
ish.
Yeah.
So when they walk in there, and I don't know who the vampires are meant to be, right? But there's Japanese girls who are singing in school uniforms.
Yeah. Not creepy.
So is this a vampire club and they're vampires? Or are they humans and the businessmen in the club are vampires, or are they both vampires?
I don't know, unless it's just it could be a human place, but the vampires own it, and they just, I don't know, it's really weird. It doesn't explain it all, does it?
No, but I find it hilariously how niche it was, where, yeah, just, it's just like late 90s, and like Japanese schoolgirls, I guess, why not? I mean, you know, I'm like, what? Where'd that come from?
It's always been some weird Western obsession. Japanese schoolgirls.
Maybe like
never understood it.
They're like, okay, Sailor Moon, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the peak of that cult. Not necessarily the culture, the movement. It's a bit.
It's always been a weird.
But I was like, when I saw it, I was like, that's kind of funny actually.
Yeah.
Who knew that? Yeah, but I mean, no. I mean, within that, they used it within the film.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, wait, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are out of place in Blade 1, which are like, but at the same time, I think it helps also situate the world where anything can kind of happen-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, there's wacky things that happen, then you're like, well, you know.
But the thing is, because it's like a vampire film, like, these things are wacky, but then you got to remember these are vampires, so it's already out of any realism it is. So I guess this can count as well, I guess, you know.
Yeah. In the Spider-Man films, we didn't point out. I know if you read, so you know he's Uncle Ben, right? Of course, because we know the comics, right? Uncle Ben.
Yeah, I know Uncle Ben.
There was a movie reviewer calling him Grandpa Ben, and I was like, you know what? If you don't know, even though Peter Parker says Uncle Ben, right?
Yeah.
You would assume it is his grandpa.
Yeah,
because they're so.
But like, who calls their grandpa first name?
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's true.
People may do it. I don't know. I don't know anyone who does that.
Yeah. Well, some people call their parents by their first name, which I find strange.
Yeah,
I don't call my parents, you mum, dad, whatever, right?
Yeah. I never call mum.
But yeah,
when I used to work with mum years ago, I would call her name on the shop floor and stuff, but I wouldn't at home say Caroline, because that's weird.
Yeah. When I was working, like, as Chinese people do, right? Yeah. Kind of Chinese person never works at their parents' Chinese restaurant, right? Yeah. Even then, though, I never called my parents by their name. You just go Ma, Da, or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean. In a professional environment, you can't really call out mum.
No,
that's just
weird.
That's just odd.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not. So one of these movie reviews is calling him Grandpa Ben, and I'm like, well,
yeah. If you don't know the comics, you could think that because he's like in his 60s or whatever, and he's got like a teenage grandson.
No. That's the thing. Nephew. That's the funny thing. I think Rosemary Harris, who's playing Aunt May in the Tobey Maguire one, she was like 70 something.
Yeah.
And Cliff Robertson was like 70 something as well. So you like, if you're 70 something and you got a 16-year-old nephew, that makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
Even in the Andrew Garfield.
I was gonna say, it kind of, like we said before, it's kind of weird that would that mean like Peter Parker's parents are in their 60s, 70s, or is there some weird big age gap between whoever's related to each other, like a big gap?
Yeah. And obviously this depends on which continuity, because someone's related to someone from it, but in different continuities they're related to someone else. So, yeah. So it's like, okay, and the funny thing is like, so I think Sally Fields was like 60 something when she was Andrew Garfield's aunt, which I mean, could you say? Well, yeah, even then. But when
she doesn't look that old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when they showed like Peter's parents and stuff in the Andrew Garfield ones, they look quite old as well. So it was like, okay, fair enough. That kind of.
Oh yeah. I mean, they could work in comparison. But no,
Yeah.
when you see Martin Sheen as Andrew Garfield's Uncle Ben,
Yeah.
and he's his dad. So Martin Sheen's got white hair,
Yeah.
and Andrew Garfield's dad's got blonde hair. So there might be a 10-year age gap. Fair enough, probably.
Yeah.
You know? It's still viable, I
Yeah.
guess. But there was that little bit of a not uproar. But when Marissa Tomei was cast as Aunt May, and they're like, she's too young, and she's 50 or 47. Like, you know, she's late 40s.
Yeah, and she looks that age, so it's possible for
at that point, she looks like a more mature lady.
Yeah,
but
and it's possible to have
she's probably
a nephew.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably the correct age for Aunt May, even though in the comics Aunt May was drawn like she was going to fall over at any point
moment,
and she's died like several times. So yeah. Oh yeah, and she got with Jonah Jameson is. How would you say Jonah Jameson is?
I would say, well, he would have to be in his like 50s ish because he has like I want to say late 20s, early 30s-year-old son.
Yeah. Older than Peter, probably. Yeah. So if Aunt May in the comics, right? Aunt May hooked up with J. Jameson's dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does that work? In the sense that Peter must be like 50 years younger than Aunt May.
Yeah.
Because how could you get to hook up with Jameson's dad, who's probably 80 something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very. You know. Yeah. I mean, it's funny, but it's at the same time, it's like, okay.
Yeah, sure. I guess whatever. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. The other thing is, we didn't speak about organic web shooters versus artificial web shooters.
I don't care for artificial. I mean, not artificial, organic web shooters. I just don't like it. Like it works for say Kane or someone.
Yeah.
Kind of make him different because he is a clone, so they could probably put that into his DNA or whatever. But to have Peter have organic web shooters at the time, I liked it. Yeah. And then more I thought about it, I was like, that makes no sense.
See, here's the logic that I read. That reason where they came up with organic web shooters is like, Peter's a school kid, right? How can he come up with such a device that does like tensile strength swinging, all that stuff? Like, where does it get? How does he make it? Right? So they thought, rather than explain how he put it together, because they thought, it's a bit out of the realms of. It's a superhero film though. He's got spider powers. Come on. Anyways. They're like, okay, we'll give them organic web shooters, and then we don't have to kind of worry about it. Yeah. I kind of prefer the organic web shooters. Not the organic web shooters, the artificial ones, because like, it could run out. They could explode or whatever. It could stop it from happening. Yeah,
it brings more risk to him.
Yeah.
Like more urgency because like he can't always rely on it because if he runs out, He's kind of screwed.
Yeah. I will point out though, Andrew Garfield's ones did light up.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
I thought they did it just for the merch. We'll set up lighting web shooters. You press the button, the red light. I mean, what's it do really? Like, say you're swinging, right? And forget the fashion choices. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're swinging the streets in daylight or nighttime, right? At nighttime, you're not gonna get like it's gonna see some red dots and stuff in the sky. Yeah. Swinging in the daytime, it don't really do anything.
But I think
you reckon it was.
It's like more of an indicator to him that he's running out or something like that.
Oh no, I thought they lit up every time they hit it, not lit up when they started running low.
No, I'm saying like so say he hits it and it doesn't light up, then he knows, I'm running.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's like a visual thing rather than
usually red like when it runs low, but okay, fair enough.
But like,
I mean, go on.
Well, I was gonna say like going back like. With the Tobey Maguire one, when they said he's a student, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
They keep going on how much of a good scientist he is with that Kirk Connors. That if he's that good, he could make a simple web shooter. Yes, that's what I was thinking. I was like, it helps. It does help in the Tom Holland ones, right? In the sense that yes, he's got a scientific mind. He might not be
have all the equipment to do everything all perfectly. You don't have Tony Stark's whatever research room or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it does make sense of how if he can make organic web shooters from scraps in a cave, right?
Yeah.
Then he could tweak all his other stuff a bit more.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that Tony Stark gave him the costume, like the more refined web shooters and the costume and stuff like that. I was like, shouldn't he have made it himself with the Stark tech? Because then it's not like he's someone else has done it for him.
Yeah, but I guess he needed him in a hurry, so here you go.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough how they did it. But I don't. I don't know. A super fat. Go on.
It kind of makes sense Tony Stark giving him all that because, all right, we just bring Spider-Man straight to the films. There we go. He's got everything already. Because if he had a film before that set up, like before Civil War, then I understand him making all that stuff for himself. But you're kind of shoehorning this dude into like a universe that's already going. You kind of just like give him the stuff.
So Andrew Garfield's web shooters, they went outside of his costume, right?
Yeah.
Well, he had a little metal piece, right? That protruded from his wrist area, so he could shoot the web. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did Tobey Maguire shoot web?
Yeah. I always question this as well. Like, it makes no sense because, like, is there like some little slit in his costume that it comes out? But even then, that makes no sense because how's it guided itself?
Yes, exactly. Oh, do you think it's better that they? You know how he can. He hasn't. I don't think Spider-Man's done these recently, right? But he used to be able to make web baseball bats and web parachutes and web shields and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't think he's ever done it in the movies.
No, I don't. That's something I don't think you can do in the movies.
Yeah, you think it's too ludicrous?
Kind of, but then there's aliens with purple jaws that can snap their wrists and destroy the universe. So I guess it's in the realm of possibilities, but just seems weird. Just seeing live action would be weird to see.
And also, I mean, I know they kind of don't really explain how. Okay, so are we to say? Oh, yeah, no, they do. In Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, when Peter is looking at his wrists, his fingers, right, because of the spider bite, and he sees the little talons on it.
Yeah.
So when he puts the costume on, how does he stick to the walls?
Isn't it? Well, I know, like in the comments and stuff, isn't like his fingertips the materials thinner so he can stick to the walls?
No, but in the comics, he's wearing spandex, right?
Well, not anymore.
Okay. Well, yeah, that raises another set of questions. But even if you were to say yes, fair enough, the costume part is thinner material. Yeah. The boots, on the other hand, are gonna be thick at the soles, right? Unless you're gonna tell me he's walking around in plimsoll like bottoms, which he can just, when he's running on the ground or when he's touching the floor, a roof, whatever, he can feel every granite bump there is, and that's gonna be uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's one of the things at this point I don't question. Like, there's some weird scientific reason behind it.
Yeah, just leave it be, and we go.
Yeah.
It's just when you think about it.
Yeah, it makes no sense, doesn't it? You have no arch support, anything. His feet.
Yeah.
Feet is battered.
Another thing in Amazing Spider-Man we didn't speak about, but when he's looking around for the thief that killed his Uncle Ben, and then he's in that thief's car.
Yeah,
the blonde thief car. So the thief's trying to break into the car. Spider-Man's already in. Like when he breaks it, sit down the seat. Spider-Man's already inside it.
Nope.
Like, all right, fine, I buy it, right?
No, but if you listen,
he's Spider-Man.
I thought the same. But if you listen, when that thief gets in the car, you hear another door open. And they close at the same time.
Right. But here's the thing, right? If the thief had to break into it, did Spider-Man just simply open the door?
Yeah.
And the car was unlocked?
No, because when the thief broke into it, unlocked all the doors.
Well, didn't he? Oh, okay. I thought he just did the slider thing on that particular.
Nah, unlocked the whole door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
If you listen, you hear it twice.
Okay.
That's clever.
So Spider-Man's all joking about with the guy, right?
Yeah.
And then after he shoots the web, like he webs the guy against the wall, and then when he does the sneeze with the double web to the guy's crotch,
Yeah.
all of a sudden after that, right, he's like, it zooms in on Spider-Man's face where he's like, well, now I'm going to get serious here. Did you kill my uncle? I'm like, he was just joking about with this dude a second ago.
Mm.
That's quite a switch. He should have either been serious the whole time because he's searching for his uncle's murderer, or a gradual transition to be a bit more serious. Where were you on that day? Blah blah blah. And the guy's not answering, and then you can go Batman. But he just kind of like went from, busting jokes to, you know what, I might hurt you really really badly.
Mm.
Yeah, and I was like, okay.
I feel like it could be like some weird editing thing where there was a scene they cut out.
Well, yeah, because he was like a good 5 minutes of getting in the car, jokingly mocking the thief, and then coming out of the car. Oh, knives are my greatest weaknesses and stuff like that. And then it's like, all right, yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with some weird editing choices.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that was the case there because I was just like, what kind of, yeah. All right, another thing. So remember in the 2005 Fantastic Four, the thing got on the lift with the Fantastic Four and it exceeded the weight limit, right?
Yeah.
And then he said, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna get the stairs, right?" Yeah. Whether the stairs could handle his weight is another issue. But then again, in the Avengers, the stairs handled the Hulk's weight, so fair enough. Anyways, he gets off the lift, right? And then so then you see in the 2007 Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer film, he's on a plane with the Fantastic Four, like a commercial airline plane. I'm like, wait a minute. Wouldn't you, if you're so heavy, you stop the lift going up, when you just tip the weight, not necessarily tip the weight to your end of the plane, but you would offset the plane, the balance, whenever you're walking up and down it or whatever. Yeah. I think they didn't think of that, right? Because remember when he jumped down from the thing to stop the truck and he made a crater, a small little crater?
Yeah.
And I was like, right, okay, I guess. The thing is, right, had they in that film, that's when they come up the Fantastic Car as well. Yeah. So if they set something up earlier, where he couldn't get on the plane with them because it was too heavy, and then later on you have I've built this device, but it's underneath the covers. Don't pull it yet because it's not finished, and then you're on the Fantastic Car. Now the thing can finally actually get on a moving vehicle. That'd have been a smooth way to get there, right?
Yeah, but this is a film with 2007. You give them some credit. These are.
Okay, fair enough.
It's just that was like a film nowadays. I reckon they would have done something like that, but we need to stop at it.
Yeah, you're saying don't worry about the logic of the. But they make a point of it. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's a fight.
Which is weird.
Well, in that film, to be fair, they never made a point of it. But in the previous film, they did, and then they just kind of forgot they. I mean, then you watch the previous film before you do a sequel to it. In some cases, actually don't, which is really weird.
But I guess if you're the same director, don't think you need to. But if you was a new director taking over the sequel, then I guess you should.
Yeah, but that's strange because it is the same director, and he kind of forgot his own bit.
Yeah. And it's not like there's a tiny bit in the film either. That's quite
Yeah. I mean, how do you think we'll ever see a Thing versus Hulk on screen?
I don't know. Maybe.
Do you think they'll restart? Do you reckon? Because Hulk changes in size, right?
Yeah.
But he's probably roughly 8 foot.
Say about 8 foot.
On the screen on the MCU.
Yeah.
We'd say probably Abomination's bigger than that.
Yeah. Well, they might, unless they've de-sized him now as well. I don't know.
Yeah. So I know in Fantastic Four 2015, he looked like he was 7.5 foot roughly. I don't know. It depends on how tall Miles Teller is.
In them ones? Wait, you say 2015?
2015, yeah.
Oh yeah. It was about 7 foot.
Yeah.
8 foot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know if there's no reason to do Thing versus Hulk unless Hulk goes savage, but yeah. But they'll probably. I think they'll resize. I like a more compact Thing, but seeing as Hulk's been sized up, Thing has to be sized up just for the proportions. Not to be proportional to him, but if you're supposed to be a monster and you're shorter than you're squat, you look like a dwarf monster, if you know what I mean.
Still a monster, but yeah. But with the Hulk, the Thing is more like his physical appearance, like his face and stuff that scares people, rather than him being like a huge monster. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait, would you prefer a practical Thing or a CG one?
CG, if I'm honest.
Well, first of all, I think it depends on who you get as to play the Thing, because you could do a mix of practical and enhance with CG. But it might just be cheaper just to do it CG in that case.
Yeah, very cheaper and quicker. But
yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
That's a good one. But I prefer him to be wider than tall. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Because it's got to be. Yeah. I see. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Because he's more of a square. Than a rectangle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to have them wide shoulders. A bit like how Mark Waringo used to draw him.
Yeah. Wide.
Yeah. Okay. On to the Punisher. Right.
Yeah.
In Punisher 1, he had some random guy who I don't think is a comic book villain, right? In Punisher 1, Dolph Lundgren's Punisher.
Yeah.
In Thomas Jane's 1, it was Howard Saint. I don't even know. Is he a comic book villain?
I'm not too sure. I'd like to believe he is. What's his name again?
And in Howard Saint.
Let me have a look. You'll talk about that.
Yeah. And in Ray Stevenson's Punisher, it's Jigsaw. Okay, fair enough. But what other villains what villains do you have for Punisher? I mean, they used the Russian, but really, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Is that Barracuda Punisher villain?
Well, in these superhero villains, the superhero films, villains seem to be mostly one and done.
Yeah.
So I don't think it matters too much in the Punisher film where he kills the villain at the end, in this sense, because they're never going to make a reappearance, right? In comics, fair enough, right? In a TV series, fair enough as well. But yeah, usually they don't come back for another movie.
No, they have no real need to really do.
But I think the problem is as well, because in the comic books, Punisher kills all his villains. I think Jigsaw's been killed like 5 times or something like that, right?
Yeah, more likely. Yeah.
And how he comes back, just not explained.
No.
I think one time they explained that the Hand resurrected him, but I might be thinking of someone else.
I can believe that, because the Hand would randomly resurrect anyone. Like, why are you resurrecting this person?
I think they resurrected Hammerhead, and they definitely resurrected Dr. Octopus.
For what reason? The Hulk as well. We're like, wait, what?
They resurrected the Hulk?
Yeah.
For what reason?
After Civil War 2, the Hulk dies in that, right? And then I think like a year later...
Banner gets shot in the head,
Yeah, and then the Hand resurrected him.
Resurrected Banner or Banner as the Hulk?
One or two, can't remember now. It was that long ago.
Okay, but why did they do that?
I don't know. I didn't read
it. Because Marvel needed the Hulk to come back, essentially, right?
Sort of, but then he resurrected him, but then they sort of resurrected him, he didn't, and then She-Hulk was a Hulk for a while, and then he became the Immortal Hulk when you found out the Hulk can't actually die.
Well, isn't the Immortal Hulk Amadeus Cho?
No, that's the Totally Awesome Hulk.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Immortal Hulk is Bruce Banner, who can't die. I read the first 2 volumes of it. I got it all, but I need to actually read it. It's really good.
Do you think we'll ever? Speaking of that, do you think we'll ever see a Grey Hulk on film?
Could do, but do we need to?
Not particularly, but I'm just wondering because they've got the Savage Hulk and they got Professor Hulk, Smart Hulk, call it. So I'm just like, oh, Joe Fixer Hulk, but that's not really. I mean, then you'd have to explain why he turned grey.
Yeah.
And then why is he a mobster?
Yeah, I think like Grey Hulk. When you think about it now, that's a product of that time period. I don't think.
Yeah.
After that decade, it doesn't really work anymore. It's like.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Patch and Wolverine thing. Like, I get it, but why?
Yeah, but when Wolverine is patched, this is how they fixed it. This is how the retcon was. Essentially, people knew who was Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
But they in Madripoor, but they feared Logan so much, right? Because he in his D&D stats he had natural 20 intimidation, and people are like, all right, we ain't gonna say nothing.
We'll just carry on with this. Yeah, we'll pretend we're in this as well. That's why I never got Patch. I never understood how no one knew it was Wolverine, the most obvious looking guy in the whole universe.
Yeah, it's the hair. He's squat. He's got the hair. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna put an eye patch over my eye, and no one will know. Like, all right, sure.
Yeah.
You don't change your voice or anything, but okay, sure. Yeah. You do it. You do it. Sure.
But let's detour back to the Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, do you think they're ever going to do the Angel of Death Punisher?
That where he dies and comes back.
Yeah, or Frankencastle. None of that craziness.
Nah.
I don't. I mean, it doesn't really have a place in the Punisher. I don't even know how it had a place in the Punisher actual lore, but yeah.
I think it's one of those things they kind of pretend never happened now as well. Like, especially
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Exactly.
It was a cool idea for the time. Well,
yeah. Do you haven't read Welcome Back, Frank, have you?
No.
This is the first Garth Ennis, one of the Garth Ennis runs, right? And in it, I'm going to ask you whether you think they will ever do these things in film as well. But there's a set of villains called Mr. Payback. He had like a bandana over his head with the eye holes cut out, right? Yeah. And he was fighting for against the corrupt organizations and stuff like that, yeah? For the working class, yeah? He teamed up with the Holy, which is a priest, right? And when people go to confession their sins, then say, I'll bear my soul to God, forgive me, and then I'll go off to do some more sinning, right? Like murdering. There was a serial killer at one point, right? Yeah. The Holy goes and walks out of his confession and just chops them to shanks them all, right? Okay. And then, but he's a priest, yeah. And then you had the Elite, who is what's he? The corporate rich guy and stuff like that. Yeah. And he's looking at the peons on the street, which are the petty drug dealers and all them sort of people that are corrupting the innocent, right? Yeah. I shall murder them because not necessarily the lower class, but those are leading to corruption of us. Yeah. Yeah. And then they go and try to get the Punisher to join them. And he's like, nah, I'm going to do? I'm going to murder all of you.
Because that makes sense.
Which he does. But it's just like, okay, so Punisher, you can go and kill people. I know, fair enough. There's different lines, right? But it's like, Punisher, you go and killing people for what you think is correct. And you're essentially a terrorist aimed at the right sort of criminals, yeah? Yeah. But these people, as well, in their own minds, are correct. And I think they're obviously meant to be like completely more one-sided than the Punisher, so he can go and kill them and say, look, at least the Punisher's not as bad as these people, but it's a bit of an odd one. Yeah. I could see them, though, making a cameo in a movie so he can murder them. Yeah, same. Especially in the series, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. But what do you think about, you heard of Scourge and Solo?
Yeah, I heard of Scourge. Not Scourge, sorry. I've heard of Solo because he's like a Mickey take sort of James Bond in it.
In the Marvel universe?
Yeah.
I thought it was the guy with the guns and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I think
because he was part of the Deadpool at one point. I remember that.
Oh, maybe that's later because in the 90s he had them guns and pouches and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't want to say it was a knockoff Punisher, but he was kind of a knockoff Punisher. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, will Punisher ever encounter those guys? I don't know. But they don't really have a lot of a rogue gallery. Let me put it that way. There was. Have you ever heard of Marganucci?
No. Who's this?
Okay, let me tell you. Oh goodness, let me tell you the story of this, right? And this one, I don't. This is ludicrous, by the way. And you know how Garth Ennis writes stuff.
Yeah.
That is kind of black comedy. So she's Punisher murders her son or whatever, right? She's like, all right, what we're gonna do is go and kill Frank Castle. He's killed my son. I'm gonna get revenge on him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then, I think this is when they chase Punisher to a zoo. Okay?
Yeah.
And he jumps into a polar bear exhibit, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, well, I better get the polar bear to deal with these mobsters, right?
Yeah.
And the polar bear is a bit docile. So what he does, he punches the polar bear in the face.
Okay.
And runs off. And the polar bear then mauls the other guys, yeah? So I don't know if it's a crocodile or the polar bear, but at one point in the zoo, Marganucci gets done as well, okay?
Yeah.
And next time you see her, she is got no arms and no legs. She's just kind of like a torso.
Yeah.
And she's wearing a wig because she's got scratches across her scalp, okay?
Yeah.
So then she's like, I don't have my vendetta against the Punisher after all this, after what he's done to me.
Okay.
So then towards the end of the storyline,
yeah.
So Punisher's like rocked up to her mansion and he's murdered everyone there is, and he sets the mansion on fire. She's in a wheelchair, okay? Yeah. At the top of the building, wherever, like the mansion, and she like Punisher's at the bottom, like, what are you gonna do, woman? You know, you're just gonna burn. You can't do anything to me. You can't even come down the stairs. What are you talking about, right? She somehow rocks her wheelchair to the edge of the window balcony thing, and then basically flies out at the Punisher.
Okay.
Okay, and then she kind of, with her stuff, right, with her wig flying off, by the way, with her stuff, kind of shuffles over towards him to bite his ankles. Okay?
Wow.
And he's like, right. And he just toe punts her into the fire.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, what am I reading?
This is highly offensive.
Yeah.
So, okay, sure. Right.
I mean, it's kind of like, if you see it in live action, you laugh.
Yeah.
Because it's ludicrous.
Because it's stupid. It's just weird. Why would you? Okay. Sure.
I mean, yeah, but that's Garth Ennis for you.
Yeah.
There was I was thinking of another thing is also I got mixed up with, because I thought this was Punisher, but it wasn't, right? Do you ever read Hitman?
No.
Okay, DC had a character called Hitman, which basically had kind of X-ray vision. But he was a hitman, so not too different.
Yeah.
But he assassinated, like, the Siamese twins.
Yeah.
He shot one of them in the head. Yeah. So the other one, so the guy's suits, right, had two collars, one for his head and one for the other head.
Yeah.
And so one of the twins got shot in the head.
Okay.
And that was rotting on that side. Okay.
Yeah.
So when the mob bosses were in the meeting, and you got flies over this head that's right next to him, yeah. And the monsters are trying to not hold it, like choke up because of the smell and stuff like that. And they go like, are you snuffling because of my brother? Are you trying to make fun of the way he smells and stuff like that? I'm like, wow,
That's a bit much.
Yeah, but I was like, as part of the course for Garth Ennis,
Yeah. That stuff.
I mean, like, when the Russian got killed and he came back with the ballerina dress and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What was that about,
Yeah. He just does it to be funny, but it's not funny.
Well, yeah, well, that's the thing. I'm thinking in these films, I mean, you couldn't really... These other villains are a bit weird to have. Yeah. In a serious movie like The Punisher. Even Barracuda, right? As much as you could have him, you'd have to tone him down because the levels of craziness that happens there as well.
Yeah. You have to turn it way down. Yeah.
But let me point out. Let me point out, right? Eminem took down the Punisher.
Did he actually do it in that comic? Because I never read it.
Yeah. He cold-cocked the Punisher somehow.
Oh, okay.
And then somehow he had amazing gun skills. I'm like, yeah, but you don't have to. Are you Vin Diesel? Because the skills you have fabricated out of nowhere. I don't know how many street fights Eminem has been in, right?
Yeah.
Or gunfights or whatever, but it's just like you're telling me on par with military trained Frank Castle. Either Frank Castle's abilities are really low, or you are really potent, and we just don't know it.
Well, it depends. If this is MCU, not MCU, 616 universe Eminem, we don't know he's training.
That's true. It's true.
He could be.
It's true. All we know that he's a rapper, but nothing beyond that, right?
No, because he might have some history where he was like a Black Ops agent or something. I don't know.
Oh, it's true. It's true. I mean, to be fair, I read it once and then I was like, okay. I don't know about this. The cameo of, but then again, Punisher went to kill Archie. What's his name? Archie in Riverdale. I can't remember his name.
Archie Andrews.
Yeah, but Archie also survived the Predator. So what can you say about that, right?
Yeah. These people are overpowered. Maybe, who knows?
Well, like they say in the world of comedy, if you're the serious character in a comedic world, the comedy characters are going to have the advantage of being able to survive whatever.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. I think, but mostly Punisher will probably be fighting mobsters most of the time.
Well, they probably just make up crime families and stuff for him to murder.
Well, here's the thing: you can get some crime families which aren't going to be used by other people. I know there's Hammerhead and there's Tombstone, which aren't likely to be used by Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Maybe not even in Daredevil.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So, but you'd have to
like them sort of. Yeah, you can sort of throw them into any of those street level TV shows, heroes, really.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, I think that's the problem with Punisher, because he doesn't have any recurring villains. What can you? Because murder them all. Yeah, exactly. Take someone else's rogues gallery.
Yeah.
And tweak it.
Looking at the Wikipedia page, like his enemies are Barracuda, Bullseye, who's technically not his.
Yeah.
Bushwhacker
Exactly.
again. Damage.
Bushwhacker, the Moon Knight villain, by the way.
Yeah, so I'm saying it's like he just kind of borrows people's.
Yeah. I mean, there's Kingpin in here as well, so. Yeah.
Lady Gorgon, yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think Tombstone might be good though, because it's like bullets will hurt him, but they won't kill him, and you can do the enhanced skin thing, right?
Yeah.
Not to level to Luke Cage, but then how do you defeat a character who has a certain degree of immunity to bullets? Yeah.
Then maybe not use him for a Punisher, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, would you think that Tombstone might fit into Daredevil a bit more?
Maybe Daredevil. Yeah. Maybe Luke Cage, something like that. But I think it fits into one of them more, because
Yeah. I will say this. I mean, like you say Luke Cage, but I think Luke Cage's invincible skin is going to be more than Tombstone's like. So Luke Cage's skin is like steel thickness or something like that, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
And Tombstone's is more like granite.
Yeah.
But did you know that Daredevil defeated Absorbing Man one time somehow? Absorbing Man being a Hulk level villain or ish, something like that, right?
Must have smarted him, right?
Well, no, yeah, kind of. So Absorbing Man turned into Diamond, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Daredevil made him turn into Diamond. He just turned into Diamond to try and crush Daredevil.
Yeah.
With Absorbing Born and that stuff, because he thought it's going to be defensive material, right?
Yeah.
But Daredevil uses radar sense to work out where the weak points were in the diamond structure and start hitting those points. And I'm like, oh, you know what? That's actually really smart. You're not buying it?
No, because for me that feels like a sort of low Batman wins moments. Like,
okay,
it's convenient that he knows that. Yeah, I don't know.
No, but the radar sense would kind of. I mean, it's more logical. Well, I buy it. Even though probably one hit from him would really, really break Daredevil. But then Daredevil fought the Hulk and he's fought Namor. So what can you say about that?
Yeah, I guess. It's still weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So when we spoke about Blade before, and I said to you, "Oh, you know what? I think Vin Diesel would actually be a decent Blade, right?" And you were like, I don't know about that 100%. But let me, and then you said maybe Denzel or something like that. But let's have a look at the actors that are around at the time, right? I've got a small list here, but I'm like, tell me, would you think these people pulled off being Blade? Okay, so you said Denzel, but I'm like, I don't know about that. Only because could he do it at that time?
Maybe. I don't know, because he did around this time. He wasn't Training Day out. It might be a bit later, but
Training Day was later, 2000 or something, I think.
Yeah, he kind of pulls off a badass mofo.
But could you buy him doing the action?
Yeah, I bought him in Book of Eli and stuff. Yeah,
it's true. Actually, it's true. But do you think it'd be weird because he'd bring more gravitas to the role than needed?
I don't know. Nah.
All right. What about okay? So Carl Weathers, right? Apollo Creed would have been, I don't know, probably late 40s at that point if he was going to be Blade, right?
Yeah.
Do you think he could have pulled it off?
Nah, no one cared about. Not been bad. By that time in the 90s, early 2000s, no one really cared about Carl Weathers. I don't think he would have pulled it off.
But as if he was Blade in the role of Blade,
nah.
Would you think he? Okay. All right. Fair enough. I mean, I think. Would you rate he couldn't pull it off the part, or couldn't act the part, or something like that?
I don't think he could pull it off. I think it felt too hammy.
Okay. I mean, you know what? He could look the part, definitely. I think. But in some ways, okay. In some ways, I feel like what you're saying, because when you see him as Apollo Creed, he's over the top, like Muhammad Ali style, right? A bit like The Rock, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you see him in other things like Happy Gilmore and what's that one, Predator?
Yeah.
He's a lively character.
Yeah.
Even in what's it in is it Boba Fett?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, is it Boba Fett?
Mandalorian.
He's a bit of a calmer character, but I guess that might be because at that point he was 70 plus and he couldn't add more oomph to what he was doing, right? Okay. Tony Todd.
Nah.
Voice-wise,
maybe, but nah, I can't see the physicality and that stuff. Nah, I can't see it.
All right, but would you say Tony Todd, all he has to do is appear and speak, right? And then you'd be scared of him that you really want to fight him.
Yeah, but then say there's one of like, you know what, I'm going to try to fight this guy, and then you go to fight him, he kind of backs down, like, well, what's the point?
All right, well, let me say. Oh, well, I mean, in Candyman, all he needed to do was ever talk and actually show, but not showboat, I guess.
Yeah, well, he had the advantage with that hook and stuff, innit? But you know, when you're going against people who actually can fight as well, it's not going to be.
I don't know. I want to say I don't think he can't pull it off, but he's not an action actor, and that I don't think he's been in a role that's been action acting. Though I would say I wouldn't want to mess with him.
Yeah.
But I think that's because of the horror reputation he's gathered from it that could help him. That you buy more in the role as Vampire Hunter, and probably less martial arts and more gun action ish. If it was Tony Todd. Yeah. I mean, you could buy him shooting a gun, right? A couple of guns and whatever, right? But and maybe like a couple of boxing strikes and stuff like Liam Neeson style from Taken, right? Where you cut everything and it's very messy. But I think the whole point of Blade is that there is martial arts and you do see things happening.
Yeah.
So then you're probably going to say, and this is the last guy on this list, but you're probably going to say this guy can do it. Michael J. White.
Yeah, I could buy him as Blade. He wouldn't do as good a job as Wesley Snipes, in my opinion, but yeah, I could buy it.
Oh, wait, say that. First of all, let me just clarify. Dude's got the martial arts. He's got the body for it, right? The physicality. You can buy whatever he's doing, even if let's say the stuntman has to do certain things for it, yeah? But you can buy Michael J. White being able to do those things. I think he does gunplay and action and stuff like that. So why do you think
I don't know. Like, how can I don't know. Wesley Snipes to me has a kind of like blank stare sort of persona that Blade has, which you can't call in that film.
Okay. Well,
Michael J.
but
White
is your
really.
is your vision of Blade in your head because of Wesley Snipes?
Yeah, it is.
Or,
it is.
Yeah. I will say that, right? He's ingrained a certain way in my head, not because of Blade of the comics, right? Because he's English, and he's got a throw. I just buy more Wesley Snipes when I think of Blade.
Yeah.
So that tells you how much of a good job he done as Blade, right?
Like 20 years on, still stuck in my head. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you don't think Michael J. White could okay? Well, man was Spawn, and he played Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he was Spawn, but was Spawn any good?
All right, you got me good. You got me there. I will have to say with that CG cape and stuff like that, that was a really, really, I don't know what they were going on with that. Yeah. Actually, funny enough, when you first watched Spawn, were you looking forward to it? Were you thinking it's going to be really good?
Because at the time I didn't know that much about Spawn, but I kind of knew the gist of it, so I was kind of like on the fence. Mind you, it was about like what year did Spawn come out?
94 probably.
I was about 8 at that time, but like I was like, this could be great, but I'm not too sure because I don't really know who this dude is. That
CG is so 90s. When I watched it like a couple of years ago, I was like, yeah. But the makeup was actually pretty decent. But and funny enough, even though Michael J. White was in it, it didn't give him much martial arts to do. Okay, you remember seeing Mortal Kombat Legacy, right?
Yeah.
Where Michael J. White was Jax. Even Mortal Kombat Rebirth. And you don't think from there he could pull off Blade?
No, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't really like him as Jackson either. I thought it was a weird cast choice.
Okay. Did you think that what's his name? Jimmy Olsen from Supergirl, I forgot his name. Makad Brooks. Do you think he was a better choice?
Not really either.
Okay. All right. I know they're slightly diverting from Blade, but who do you see as Jax? You don't necessarily have to give me someone who you would cast now, but just like give me the vibe you think what Jax is.
Like a sort of a no nonsense, but
you telling me what's his name? Mike Colter couldn't pull it off. Mike Colter being Luke Cage.
Yeah, I could buy that more than the other two. I'm honest. Yeah.
Okay. But even then, that he'd not be your ideal cast as Jax.
Yeah, I can't because I honestly I can't think of anyone who could like pull Jax off because in the games and stuff, he's like kind of a tortured soul at the same time because like in the newer games he died and came back to life and he's kind of like
Bobby Lashley.
Nah, not Bobby Lashley, and I love it.
all right. Okay. No, I'm just saying Bobby Lashley because he got the size for it, right? All you do is paint his arms metal, right? You don't need to. You don't give him the artificial arm. Just paint his arms metal, and that's it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like.
And to be fair, Bobby Lashley does have that blank stare that you talk about.
Yeah,
you meant for Blade, right?
Yeah, for Blade. For Jax, I don't know. I don't know.
All right.
Maybe it's the guy who was in the first Mortal Kombat film who's Jax for all of 5 seconds. He was good.
Yeah.
He's very
I don't know. I mean, he was certainly a better Jax than the second Jax. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. But I don't blame him. I just blame the script for that. But yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah. What villains do you think would have worked in? So the Tim Burton Batman, right? I know we got the Schumacher Batman and the 60s Batman, and you can make anything work in a campy movie, right? Even the most tortured soul, right? Even like, give me a Batman Rose Gallery person who you think is has a lot of depth.
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah. Well, in the Batman 60s, you saw how he was, right? And even in the Schumacher films, you saw how he was, right?
Yeah.
So they can work in those films. Not necessarily the right way. They can work the wrong way.
But have they worked?
No, as in As in, if you're a campy film that's kind of comedy, that's like a bit of that's over the top and hammy, right? Anything, nothing needs to be taken seriously at all. So there's a way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Could you see Mr. Freeze in a Tim Burton Batman film? I mean, how would you think they would tweak it to make it work if that's the case, or would they not use him?
I don't know, probably tweaking kind of like they did with Penguin. Like somehow he's like a child of an icicle or something like that. I don't know, something.
I don't know about the fantastical ray guns and stuff, like the freeze gun he has. But I tell you what, I would see in this particular villain, I can see Tim Burton doing a take on the Man Bat.
Yeah, I can see that. That's not be bad. That's kind of easy to do. Yeah.
Well, for Tim Burton, you mean?
Yeah, for him, really.
Yeah. I think no, but it's yes. To be fair, it's an obvious choice, right? Say you got a sequel to the Tim Burton Batman Returns, yeah. Yeah, I think Man Bat would work. I think there's a gothic grim take on Ra's al Ghul that could be done, right?
Yeah.
Clayface? Would you think? First of all, the question is whether Tim Burton could pull off these. How would these work in that fantastical gothic?
I don't think Clayface could.
No.
No.
Yeah. Firefly. I mean, I'm sure there's, but some of these wouldn't be obviously some of these wouldn't be the main characters, right?
No.
In fact, you know what? Firefly could work because you know how he burnt that guy with the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that if that clown came back as Firefly, look at that.
Story. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, exactly. They lucked into it and it worked. I think Hugo Strange could work as well if you have a dude obsessed with Batman. Right?
Yeah, Hugo Strange.
That he wants to be. Yeah, but it's just like the way that Tim Burton would do it. Or like, I mean, like Penguin's a gangster with gimmick umbrellas. Yeah, I don't even think at a point he was a gangster.
In the film or in general?
In the comics.
No, it wasn't like that was kind of like a more like recent, not saying recent, but like 90s-ish thing in it where they kind of changed him.
Yeah, mid-90s, right?
Yeah.
Mid-90s. Yeah. Or maybe it was around that time. Well, no, that's 92, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it was just moving into that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they kind of took inspiration from his Batman 66 sort of persona, because he was like a weird sort of gang leader in a way, because he had minions and stuff.
Yeah, it's true. But I wouldn't necessarily call them gang leaders. Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call him a mobster just because of a gang leader though.
But yeah.
Maybe expanded the operation. But yeah, I can see them being minor villains. Maybe a Hugo Strange being like a more major villain. But yeah, Tim Burton take on Killer Croc.
Again, they probably make him like he got thrown into the sewers and got raised by lizards. That's why he's a lizard. I think they'll probably go for that medical condition thing. Yeah, which makes sense.
But like his skin scaled over, that sort of thing. He didn't. Yeah. I don't know if they make him murdering like all the tramps and stuff that go into the thing with Jig. Like he's Killer Croc, and sometimes the take of him is like he's the Sagat of the Batman villains.
Yeah.
Where he's like, all right, well, I'm a bit of a criminal, but I'll do good things as well, man. It's not, I don't do everything just for me.
Yeah.
I look after the people that have been like my other fellow homeless and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
The Killer Croc I like. Yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah.
Rather than he's just some nut guy. He just eats people.
Yeah.
There's no reason
what about the Mad Hatter? I have a feeling, right? I mean, I think it could work, but usually I think the take on the Mad Hatter is they come they give him the pedophile vibe, which I'm like, no, okay, there's a line here, right? Not to defend, but if you're playing around with little girls, then that's a bit weird, right?
Yeah.
But if you're obsessed with the fairy tale and trying to recreate the moment because of your childhood and stuff like that, kind of, but it's lines to be drawn there. You got to make sure you don't tip too far into
that territory. Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the Batman film, because you're like, wow, that's going to be. Yeah, I think though this is a strange one though, that Tim Burton could pull this one off without going too far in that direction because it's a wacky world. That they live in.
But like with the Mad Hatter thing, like I never kind of got the pedo vibe from it until recently. Because like from what I've ever seen of him, he's always like a woman in the like 20s, 30s that he's obsessed with, and he tries to get there to be her Alice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well,
I can see.
that's what I'm saying. It depends. It really does depend on who is writing it. Because Alice is what a teenager.
I believe so.
11-year-old. Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's.
Yeah, I can see
how young they're drawn to look. That's the problem.
Hmm.
Because in sometimes, right, when we've seen drawings of Jason Todd, he's meant to be 16 when he's 14 when he's Robin, whatever, right? 13,
Yeah.
And he's sometimes drawn to be a fully grown man who's 18 or whatever. Yeah.
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 Just depends on the artist, I guess.
Yeah.
Super weird.
So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing where we're skewed on the way we look at certain things because they need to get actors who are over 18 most of the time to play high school students because of the working hours when you're filming a series. It could be like filming for like 18 hours a day and you get 6 hours sleep or some craziness like that. And you can't make a child work that long.
No.
Yeah. So now we were saying about in Smallville, Tom Welling is 24.
Yeah.
Pretend to be a 16-year-old, yeah. 14-year-old. So when you actually do see, like, you know, when the dude in Gotham, the kid in Gotham, was played with Bruce Wayne, child Bruce Wayne, 10 years old, and you're like, he looked like he's 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he don't look like he's in the late teens. That's how we assume that the people have been would look around that age. You know, in Greece where they're like coming up to their 30s.
Yeah, and they're playing like 15, 16-year-olds. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Funny.
I could see actually as well. I could see Tim Burton doing Solomon Grundy.
Yeah, Solomon Grundy could work.
Ventriloquist.
I got scared that he would ended up like Bane.
Oh yeah, well yeah, but no. Okay, let's just say they use Solomon Grundy in the Schumacher films instead of Bane. Would you buy that more?
No.
Well, he got thrown into. He's murdered and thrown into the swamp, right?
Yeah, but that made him weird.
No. But what I'm saying is, the logic that Poison Ivy will have control over him makes more sense there.
Oh yeah. That makes all sense.
Yeah. But yeah, like you're saying, that his origin would be a bit weird. But let's just if we're gonna team up with Poison Ivy.
But I even think you wouldn't even have to use Poison Ivy's like magic potion stuff to kind of.
Oh no, that's what I mean. Like, so say they killed Cyrus God and threw him in the swamp, and then at some point he resurrects himself as Solomon Grundy, and then he encounters Poison Ivy or something like that, or he's just kind of walking over to Gotham because of some allure for some reason, and then he's drawn to Poison Ivy because of her pheromones. I'm
saying like you wouldn't even need that because he's easily manipulated Poison Grundy. You wouldn't have to do any of that. It's like, oh, this guy has your money. You'd be like, Grundy need money, whatever. You don't need to have all that stuff because he's kind of a simple character, so you like get around it that way, really.
What about Zaz? Victor Zaz.
I don't know. I think he's too dark for that.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, but then the Burton films were like 15.
Yeah, but like Zaz is like a proper serial killer and stuff. I don't think he would fit in that sort of film either. Because like he would fit in like the new Matt Reeves one and stuff like that because that's all that weird psychological stuff. But I don't know. I don't think even Tim Burton's one. It wouldn't. They'll probably tone him way down. It wouldn't be Zaz.
Yeah. Well, or do you think he'd be one of those where he catches them at the beginning of the film or something like that? He's. I mean, Zaz was in what's it called? The Dark Knight films.
He was, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was in that. He was like a blink and you miss it sort of thing.
Well, if you don't know who it was meant to be, because it would just be like any random dude's name. But let me point out something else, right? At some point, you'll have to watch these, yeah?
Yeah.
Which are kind of when we do our talk on the Dark Knight films.
Yeah.
You should also watch these two, yeah? Fan films, yeah?
Okay.
On the side, okay?
All right.
Dark Knight Puppet Master.
Okay.
That's the one where I'll give you a quick lowdown.
Okay.
That's the one where Riddler's in. This is obviously taking place in the Dark Knight universe. It's like 8 minutes long or something like that, and it's like a Nolan take on the Riddler, kind of. Yeah, and what's the other one? Let me see. Dark Knight. Okay, I can't remember the title of it, but it's got Red Hood in it and Nightwing. Not like Nightwing's at the end of it, but it's mainly it's like Red. Well, it's the new Batman, right? But Red Hood, we know him as the Red Hood because he's obviously not new Batman. But this takes place after Dark Knight Rises. God damn it! Let me what's it called? Surely it's not simply a Dark Knight Red Hood.
Wait, so this is set in the Dark Knight universe, right?
Yeah,
like, The Burton film, not Burton, sorry, the Nolan films, yeah.
Yeah.
So how did Nightwing come into it?
That's at the end of Dark Knight Rises, where John Blake is Nightwing.
Okay, that's a reach. Okay, sure.
Oh, hold on. First of all, it's called Dark Knight Legacy. So I'll ask for your opinions on those when we do that. Yeah.
Okay.
But to tail this off, what you're saying that you wouldn't expect John Blake to become Nightwing?
No.
What do you expect him not to be Batman?
I expect to be Batman or someone else because, like, Nightwing. I don't know. I just feel that's a bit. I don't know. I can't really see anyone else who's not Dick Grayson becoming Nightwing. Because, like, the legacy behind it and stuff, and the reason for him to become Nightwing.
Well, yeah, Superman involved, right?
Yeah. But, like, John Blake to go, you know what, I'm going to be Nightwing. Wait, okay, where did you get the idea from? Sort of thing, you know, it's... Even like the Red Hood, like, where would that come from without having anything to do?
But in this, Red Hood is not called Red Hood. He's called. He wants to call himself the new Batman or something like that. To be fair, I don't think Nightwing's named Nightwing either here. He's just got the Nightwing suit on. So, you know, but I have to watch it again to confirm.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll do the Dark Knight series, and then you can have a look at these two fan films and tell me what you think as well.
Okay, sure.
Okay. All right. So so that's us signing off for this epilogue episode of the superhero films that we have watched.
Yes.
Yeah. Well. Who? I'm yeah. I'm the man who got thrown in the swamp and resurrected to follow Poison Ivy. Grundy smash Grundy. Oh, no, not that way. Not follow Poison Ivy and smash her that way. Remember that. Siwai Chong.
And I am the demented anti-hero who kills people because they done bad things, but then I will kill people for trying to do the same thing I do because I'm a hypocrite, Carl Charles.
Yeah, which could be most of these anti-heroes, by the way.
He's such a... And thank you for listening to our epilogue on superhero movies. Is any ones you think that we've left out? Like, we probably have, like, you know, like the Phantom. I don't know why I brought that up.
Yeah, you know what? You know what we should do as well. Lump the non. That we should rewatch some of those movies and lump them together.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Like Bloodshot.
Where there's because I know we're currently doing ones with sequels that follow each other.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll just do a hammy superhero movies thing, whatever, at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, like the greatest superhero movie of all time, Bloodshot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm halfly kidding about that because I actually did enjoy that film. But yeah, so let us know. Also, did you like Bloodshot? Let me know. So yeah, just lost in my own thoughts. Oh, you can let us know by hitting us up on Twitter, Instagram, drop us an email, leave a comment in the YouTube comment section if you're watching this on YouTube, and keep reading comics, guys. It's I want to say dying up, but it's not.
And keep watching our comic movies because
yeah,
boy, some of them are really good and some of them are really bad.
Yeah, very bad. Because apparently people reckon the comic book movie bubble's gonna burst. It's not gonna burst. They make too much money off of it. But yeah, let us know in the comments on that. And don't forget to like and share this with your friends. And I'd like to thank you all for taking a trip with us around the multiverse. Bye.
Bye.
Hey. Sorry, I'm late. I got.
I'm so worried.
No, I'm sorry. What?
That's a fly, Peter.
I'm so sorry. I kept you guys up. I'm insensitive. I'm irresponsible. I'm hungry.
Drinking?
I don't think so.
This is your meatloaf. This beats all other meatloafs.
Something is very wrong.
Yeah. Nobody likes your meatloaf.
I got it.
You took the frozen macaroni and cheese?
I noticed that.
Why didn't you tell me you didn't like my meatloaf? You could have said that to me 37 years ago. How many meatloaves have I made for you?